Hello, welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Braika and Hebrew Honey. Today I'm going to do a video on how the ancient scribes worked, starting about 5th century after Christ in the city of Tiberias. The Masoretes put together a system of vowels and accenting and how to say words and how to stop words and start words and stretch them out and all those good things. And it had been a system of setting up verses in the Bible. Basically, what happened later on is when in Europe they were setting out verses, they said, well, hey, look at that. Whenever you see a sof pasuk, you see a little stop mark in the Masoretic text, that's generally where almost always where the verse was divided. So we're going to imitate a scribe, so we're going to get some of that ancient material up on the screen. It's available now online. I'm very, very grateful for that. And so we'll just have a quick look at how this works. 22 letters. I'm using the Book of Ruth to give me examples of these letters, and we'll see the consonant part. We'll see the vowel parts. Some of the words are a little bit long. Some of them are a little short. Some of them are very simple names that would recognizable names. I like names that people can spot right away. Some of them are a little bit more agglutinated verbs, so especially when you get into yod or vav or something like that. So we'll get on with it here. Let's see. First one, we'll start here with Aleph. Of course, it's a diagonal thing like this. The Aleph is based on the ancient hieroglyphic symbol of the ox, so power. So it had the two horns like that. So if you're kind of wondering what these two tags on the end of the flags here are, think of them as horns of the ox or horns of the bull. So this is a powerful letter. Often see it in words like Elohim. Here it's Ali Malech. We'll see it in words of power. So Ali Malech, God is my king. And I have the vowel pointing here. Not just the vowel pointing, we've also included a few accents, I think. Yeah, here's an attack. And this is then what you'll find in your computer app or your phone app. The two that I like on the phone are Blue Letter Bible and also now Bart Bible. Just in the last month or so, I've been using Bart Bible, and I like it. It's got a really good soundtrack as to the person who's speaking this there. I try to, of course, teach people how to say it, but the soundtrack of Bart Bible, I highly recommend it. It's a good thing. I enjoy listening to it. I had those tapes way back. I mean, like 25, 30 years ago, and I bought them in Jerusalem, and it was pretty tedious just sticking. It had little cassette tapes and sticking them on a cassette player, listening and listening and listening. So it kind of got me started on the phonetics of the Hebrew Bible. Now it's available on an app, and it's very nice. So. I get to compare here the printed Bibles, the ones you'll see on your computer apps, on your computer programs. I use the Word in Microsoft applications, but in Android's Bart Bible and Blue Letter Bible is a great thing. So here's Elimelech, and we'll get into writing it out for you. Let's see. Get ourselves a cursor here. And here we go. Writing is from the right to the left, so we'll get over here. Down we go. The little flag, down we go. Then this one out, and then back a little bit. Then the lamed comes all the way down. Our scribe loved long lamets. Then the yod's hanging in here. Then the mem has a curve on the top, comes around, drops through. And then again, the lamed, long thing again. And then the final kaf goes right down like that. Accenting starts out with a matech. Okay, here's a nice thing about these ancient texts. The matechs generally end up in the right spot, whereas in printed text, Bible texts, they tend to scatter. This one got stuck right in the middle of the vowel pointing there, which is probably not a good thing. This first one is one that's used quite a lot with Elohim, and that is the Hatev Segol, the very shortened Segol. And then here, this one's a Hidik Yod, This one's another segol, and then another segol. This is full of segolate. Now, segolates carry a milial accenting, and then you can see that here with the passer katan. I did have to look that one up. It's a passer katan. And then at the end, we have a little shava, silent shava. Maybe really shouldn't call it shava, but it's there. There's not an accent. This is a flowing board. This is a smoother called a rafe. We're going to go here. Yeah, rafe. Here is a rafe. And it's used to, in printed text and apps and so forth, they don't put it in. They say it's just a lot of work putting it in with not a whole lot to show for it. But I regard it as something that just helps us to the smoother, the one that sends the word on its way. So this does help us understand what the master eats are trying to do. They're trying to just sort of guide the flowing river of sound. So that's one. So yeah, it's not, if you're going to memorize anything, you start with a consonant, you go to the vowel. And okay, if you're going to memorize anything, you start with a consonant, okay, up here in the front, go down to the vowel, then start with the next consonant, go down to the next vowel, start with consonants, go down to the next vowel, and so forth. It's just simply a circular motion here. And the next letter is the bet right here. Goes around like this. It's based on the ancient form of house. Whenever I have a little blue arrow, the bet, at least the bet here, is based on the way the ancient hieroglyphic the shape of this particular consonant. So there's a house, here's a doorway here, and sometimes the doorway was here. Bet in the ancient form, this seals form of it was like this, and it's used. And this then was house, and then we see also here house of bread. So when your word is based on what it was sounding like originally, and way back 3,000 years ago, I like to show that connection with this little blue arrow here. So Beit Lacham. Normally it's Beit Lechem. You learn it as Beit Lechem. In this particular case, Beit Lacham, an atna was put in the middle here on this one, and it pushed this segol up into a comet. So segol is considered a more shorter or briefer form of A, and it was pushed up to comets. That's the more powerful form of A. So Bet Lacham, incidentally for Arab friends, they like to hear this one because that's what they call it, Bet Lacham. To an Arab, it's not house of bread, it's house of meat. Oh, Lacham. Okay, just a little sort of aside there. Anyway, Bet Lacham, house of bread. This is where Elimelech left from Bet Lacham and traveled over to Moab. And we have here, this is a Bet with a Dagesh, and then a Yod, Tau, Lamed, Chet, Mem, final Mem here. And we'll write it out and see what we have there for vowel pointing and accenting. So we'll start with a Bet here. Around we go. Just have a little point on the end to make sure it's a Bet rather than a cough. Then a Tau. Around we go like so. Out here, the Tau. Make it a Tau rather than a Chet. We'll have a little foot on it. And then Lamed. Down we come like this, horizontal, round like so, Chet, out like so, and then final Mem. Try to keep it sort of square. If you keep it too round, it's going to look like a stomach. So pointing, Dagesh Leni right at the start, make that into B rather than V. Then this one's a Serik, then it's having a nice little Muna here, Muna. And then we do have a Rafe. Okay, so the Rafe tells me that we're going to smooth it right through here. Try to treat it almost like a single. As you notice, the scribe almost stuck these together, which you would do anyway, I suppose. But also with the Rafe on top here, we're not going to get a Dagesh in here because we want this thing to move right forward here. So this is not, if you stuck a Dagesh in here, you'd have duplicated. That would be then a Dagesh Forte. you'd be duplicating out the tau. With a rafe, it's just say forget the duplication, move it right along. So okay, so beit, lachem, nice old comets in place of the sigil that's there because of the atna and pausal form here, by the way, because you're wondering what a pausal form is. And then on our way, and that's it for vowel pointing consonants, vowel pointing and accents. So beit lachem, house of bread. Elimelech didn't trust the Lord enough to stay in the house of bread. Next one's the Gimel, and I always tell my students, look for the distinctive feature, the one that makes the letter. Okay, what does it makes this letter? And I say on this one, all of these are sort of what you would start with a vav and a nun and so forth. But here, that foot is what makes it distinctive. And as you'll notice, our scribe had the same idea. That foot is standing right out there. Put your best foot forward is basically what he said about this gimel right here. Nice, good foot right in front of establishes that this is a gimel. We have a rafe here, have a holam and a sedik, and then also a tifa in here. So let's write it out. Get ourselves a nice, nice foot. And aleph, down we go like so. The little flag, join it down like this. Start up here, and then like a slight run back, and then a nice old lamed here, vertical, horizontal, and then it just peters out kind of quickly there. And then vowel pointing, the rafe to smooth us into the letter. No dagish, by the way. When you have rafe, you aren't looking at a dagish anymore. And then the holam up here, and then I call this one the holam katan. Textbooks and so will call this a defective holam. There's nothing defective about it. I don't like the word defective, so it's holam katan, the small holam. Full holam would be one with a valve and then a thing on the top of it. So that would be full holam. But on to the next one. Dalet is the door, and I have a little old blue connection here. Because dal is thin or poor, and the ancient version of the letter was the tent flap, and then later on, as buildings were built with stronger doors, the tent flap became a door. But the whole matter of being thin or flat stuck with this particular letter, with this particular word here as well. Ruth 3 verse 10, Boaz says, boy, I'm happy you haven't followed those Bucharim, Ashrei, Vedal, or Dal. Be the rich or poor. This one's the poor one, okay, the thin one, okay, Dal. Has a Dalet, has a Lamed, has a Patah, and there's a Dagish in here as well, and this one is a Tifa right here. That's a Masoretic indication, and I don't I haven't included the Masora on the side here in the margin. Of course, I don't have a room here for the margin, but so I'm not don't even know what the connection is to that one at that point. So let's get on with writing it. Start with a dalet over here. Goes horizontal. Little cut back to make sure it's a dalet, and then off we come from the top. Horizontal here. You can peter out your lamed quickly if you want, and then a little dagish lane in the front here, patah for the vowel, tifaf for your accenting. So there you have it, nice little old dalet, the flat guy, the thin guy. And we're up to the hey, starting out here as a horizontal line. In printed text and in our apps, the hey has a horizontal element, a vertical element on this side that is attached, and then this side is kept separate. There's space in here, and that's what you'll see in printed text today. In ancient times, no, they connected them right here. Okay, they did something that I would tell my students not to do, but that's the way it was. This was the original way of doing it, and the way they had of separating out the chet and the hey. So this is a hey. The hay had the longer element on the top, and it was still attached. The chet, you keep it short on the top. Keep it, it's a square, and the hay had a flag to tell you that it was a hay. So this is the man, and the ha'ish. Ish is man, and then ha is the article attached to the front. It's awful hard to push a dagesh into an aleph, so they just upped the comets on the front. Normally, an article will carry just a patah, but here it's carrying a comets. Now, our scribe is going to get a little extra mileage out of our yod. He made it a little bit bigger, and I kind of look at it and go, oh, yeah, he went a little more pep out of our yod here. Hirik yod, it's a hirik yod. And so he did leave it a little bit longer here. So let's get into writing this thing. Get a little scribe going here and get a little cursor running. And we're going to start with the hey, like so. And then it comes on down. And then we're going to get a nice aleph with the first diagonal, and then the little bull's horn on the top right here. And then the yod. And then the sheen, down we come like that, out like so, around like so, stop, and then get the second one in the middle here. We got something interesting happening with the sheen here. We'll get to that. In vowel pointing, nice comets on the front, like I said. Comets are the patah because the dagesh, or the hay, has a hard time taking in a dagesh. Hirik, here's a hirik yod, so this is a hirik yod. There's a munah, there's a munah right in here, and then there's a sheen over here. Now this is different from what printed texts do today. In the scribal times, they did, at least in this particular Masoretic text, they put the sheen over here, and in printed texts and the ones that you'll see in your app, the sheen is over on this side. The seen will be on that side. Okay? Seen on the left, sheen on the right. Now, in this case, sheen in the middle. So that's how you're going to see the sheen. So comets, hirik yod, both this, that is the hirik and the yod together, is just one single vowel sound. Don't try to divide that one up into two sounds. It's just a single vowel sound in the middle of this particular word, ha'ish. And to the next one, vav. Came to pass, vayhi, okay, vayhi, revia on the top there, and that's if you got in accenting, the most powerful accent is the sof pasuk. Next one after that, siluk. Then go down to sof pasuk, siluk always kind of run together. Then after that, we'll have the atna, and then the next one down the line is the revia. This one's the revia. I often see it at the start of words, like we see it right here. Even at the whole start of the whole book. This is the first word of the book of Ruth. So, and also have a little bit of an error here. Why? Because it's a hook, and the vav has a tremendous function of hanging the whole word together, the whole passage, the whole Bible together is all held together with your vav. So, again, the yod's getting extra attention here. This yod is properly formed, and this one's got a little bit more pep to it. Okay? Our scribe likes to bump up his yod sometimes, and sometimes he's got it under control. Sometimes it's a little more muscle to it. So let's get on to writing this, and find ourselves a scribe right here. Nice vav, just simple, straight down you go. Yod, same thing, but make sure you stop halfway. Hey, okay, out you go across down, and then you join it over here, okay, and then yod again at the end. Now accenting, patah, you'll start out the front, here's a patah, and then we have a little old shava over here. This is a short, but it's an open, okay, it's a short open syllable, so you will, listen to Blue Letter Bible, I think I checked this one, vayhi. Okay, do pronounce the shava here. It's there. Revia is up here on the top, and then a hirik yod over here. These two together, vayhi. In printed text, the revia will be quite pronounced. Our scribe, quite often, the revia is just about the same size as any holam or any, as we see here, any hirik or anything like that. It's about the same size dot. So if you already have a vowel, then don't think of this as a holum anymore. So sof pasuk. Oh, that's okay. Here's a nice sequence. This is the last word of Ruth 2, verse 1. Boaz. Boaz is our hero of the story of the book of Ruth. He's the redeemer. He's the one that rescues the family. I just thought of a perfect Hallmark plot. So okay, so marries the pretty woman and lives happily ever after. A very nice story. That's why it's loved. I like it. I happen to use it a lot for teaching. So Zion, the word here is used for power. Okay, so with the major defining mark of Zion is that thing on the top. The vertical element should be curved somewhat, but here he just stuck it right on top of his Zion. So that defines what a Zion is. So back to Boaz, and we'll write it out. Get ourselves a cursor here, and then we'll go around we go. Around, and make sure that little old thing is on the end. The thing on the end here has to be there to let you know that it's a little flag. Get ourselves a nice long ayin, and then this one joins up here, and then the Zion is stuck right in here. He doesn't even bother going to the bottom here, but he has a nice top on it. And then Sof Pasuk here at the end. We have a Siluk over here, Dagish Leni over here. We have a nice old holum stuck right in the middle here, and a Patah. So Boaz, a couple of vowels, and the Siluk and Sof Pasuk ending up our verse. So Boaz, in power. This particular word, you do find it in Proverbs 31. Just if you want to just look it up for yourself. The virtuous woman goes forward with her arm in Boaz. Her arm has strength in strength. So it's found in Proverbs 31. It's also found here in Ruth 2 verse 1. Boaz as the man who goes forward. He's described as a Gibor Hayil. He's a great strong man. So his name and the description of him do certainly fit together very well. Chet, and yeah, this is it works fine as a chet. And incidentally, the modern printing and apps letter very much follows the ancient one, so we're pretty good there. The nun right here does have a problem because our scribe should have run it a little bit longer, but he knew what word he was talking about, so he just left it to chen. And even though the nun should have been a little bit longer, and so anyway, we do have a yativ right here as an accenting, accent. So let's write it out. Keep it simple here. Here we go. Chet, around we go, and down, and then should be just one. And he stops right here. I'll just run it just a little bit longer to let you know that that's a final nun. Final nuns are a little bit longer. Okay, see right here. And then we'll give ourselves a nice old tzedek. Gives ourselves a yativ right in here. The little pointing ourselves forward here. So chen, favor. The name Hannah is based on this root, and a very well loved root in Hebrew. Favor. This is often used, like here we have it here. Chen be'enecha. I have found favor in your eyes. Okay, in your eyes. So this is preposition here. And yativ, by the way. Oh, we have we'll have to explain this a little bit. Yativ is what they call post predicative. They come before the name that they're going to define. So they in printed text they put the yativ over here, and they put an asla over here. Now notice they didn't bother with the asla over here, but yativ is this accent then here's put in here, but it's supposed to be accenting. Look forward. Basically, what it says here is look forward to the next. Look forward to the next word for your accenting. Okay? That's basically what's kind of happening here. Tov, good. And it's got a nice little munah here. And everything's pretty straightforward here. I'd like to kind of point out that your top lines of your printed text are horizontal. The bottom ones are as well. Our scribe liked a little bit more of an angle on the bottom horizontal, so sort of personalized the sense that he had as to how to make this the bottom lines of our word. So let's tov means good. Even in modern Hebrew, tov me'od, boker tov, here a whole lot, and it's our tet. Tet. The distinctive mark of the tet is this little old thing right in the middle here. It lets you know it's a tet. It also, yeah, goes right around, and you make it in one fell swoop. So let's make it in one fell swoop. Here we go. Down you go. Zing, zap. Got it. Tov. Yes, it is a vav with a holem on it, and then good. Here we go. And we do have a mona, we have a holem, and we have a rafe. Okay. So this rafe just tells us we're moving on. See the rafe, you won't get a dagish then anymore, and it just tells you to smooth it out. Yeah, so in other words, you're losing the plosive, or you're losing the punch of this letter. Okay, it's not tob, it's tov. Okay, tov. Boom, just flow that letter out when you see the rafe, and yeah, there's no dagish here to put the brakes on or to make it give it punch. So you lose the punch of this particular. It goes from a V to a V. Okay? We'll see the transliteration here as a V. Here's the V over here for transliteration. Yod is the hand, and again, I do have a blue arrow here to tell me that this particular word is based on the ancient form of this particular consonant of the Yod. Is then Hebrew it's Yad, in Aramaic it's Yod. So just always remember that the words that describe your letters are actually Aramaic. So it's Yod or Yad. In Hebrew you'd call it a Yad. Anyway, the hand, extended hand with strength in it, the hand that feeds you, or the hand that can give you power. So the hand of the Lord, it can either be for you or against you. Often it seems to be against you. Okay, and the hand of the Lord was against him. So anyway, Yad, and we have a nice pumped up Yod here in the front, a patah, and then a rafe. There aren't any true accenting on this thing. This is simply a guide to, and then of course the dalet doesn't have a dagish in it anymore. So it happens to be tied on in the hand of, I think it was the hand of the Lord here. Yeah, it's Ruth 1:13. Naomi's complaining about how the Lord has treated her, and so the hand of the Lord was against me. Okay, totse, against me. Let's go on to writing it. Yod, keep it simple, and then dalet. Make sure it has a thing on here. Make sure it's dalet and not resh, and then a nice little rafe. Okay, yad. Yeah, I made that one longer than what it should be. This is longer than what it should be, but we're good. So kaf, palm of the hand. It does appear as kaf in our in the passages. You see it quite often in Ruth in Proverbs 31, the hand of the virtuous woman reaching out to the poor, the palm of the hand reaching out. So incidentally, here's something interesting. You have the kaf, which we know very well within words or at the start of words, but there's a final kaf, this one out here at the end. We've seen that already in a couple of the words in previous examples. And often the final form reflects a little bit more what the original form was in archaic Hebrew. So many people think that the final form is an adaptation of this one. No, it actually started out like this, and then later on, the square text that was adopted from the Arameans. That's when they squared things up. The language started out this way. Later on, it got squared up. So, or the letters, not language, letters. So anyway, we're getting on to how key. This is because introduces a relative. It's a relative pronoun introducing a subordinate clause because such and such a thing happens. So key. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, this one has an aleph on the end of it. And if I'm talking about aleph as a mates lecciones, it's one of the reasons why I do it. So here we go to writing it. Simply around we go. And then yod over here. And then we got a nice dogish lene on the start. And then we have hirik yod. And then we got ourselves a nice muna over here. So dogish, hirik yod, muna, and it's key. Well, I had to take a little break there. My 100-year-old mother slept through her alarm, so I had to go wake her up. Anyway, here we go. Kaf. Kaf does have a final form, and I have a word here with the final form on it. And this is Ruth 2, verse 3. And she went, she walked. Betelech, batelech, batelech. And so there's a sedik and a sigol right here. Tau lamed kaf, and the final kaf. And this is what we're looking at here. The formation of the final kaf. Has a nice shape to the scribe here. It has an extra little thing on the front here, or in the end here. And so it's va, telech. Conjunction and then the tau is the she, that's a prefixed pronoun at the start of this particular. And it's the short form of halach. Okay? If you look it up in the dictionary, it's going to be hey lamed kaf. Generally, when you see it in a agglutinated form, it's going to be lamed kaf. Okay? Just get used to seeing it simply as the lamed kaf here. So that's how this verb happens to appear. I find it a little unfortunate that dictionaries do present it as hey lamed kaf. It does appear like that, certainly, and it allows the dictionary to have a nice three-letter root, but most of the time it pops up as a two-letter root, two-consonant root in halach and then telech. Find that here. So let's get on to writing it. So vav, good old vav, right down here, then a tau, straight down, and this one goes straight down, but does have a foot, okay, and then the nice old lamed here, and runs off pretty good, and then you have the final kaf, and it goes right down, it invades the territory of our vowel pointing area. Vowels, nice patah over here. We have a dogish. This would be a dogish forte. Have a nice old sedik right here. There's a mapach over here. And then we have a room for a nice old sigol right in the middle here. And then a good old sonnet shabbat at the end. A nice rafe also sending us on our way to the next letter. Okay. Va telech, telech, va telech, telech. Okay, you can even hear the sound of the rafe running off the end here, the smoother. Okay, when you have a smoother, it's not going to be a dagish. Whatever you see under here is actually shavan. It's going to be silent, so it doesn't do anything about making this kaf, bumping it up to anything powerful. So kaf. Yeah, the rafe just sends us on the way to the next letter or next word. Lachem again, bread, and this does have a. It's normal. The normal segolate of this lachem is double segol here, vowel pointing, but there's a siluk, and I think we've seen a previous example of an adna pushing this one up as well in bet lachem. Here the siluk does it, and it pushed the segol up to a comets. And we're to the end of the verse here, bet lechem. Very, very phonetically sounding end to this particular passage. It's latet lachem lachem, latet lachem lachem, bread. To give to them bread. That's the last three words of Ruth 1 verse 6. So it starts as a comets. You have a siluk, you have a sigol, but the consonants here are lamed chet, mem, and final mem there. We're looking at the lamed here. So it goes down like so, out across, down. Then we get a nice chet joined up here. Keep it short here, and then a final mem. Keep it tied together there, and then a sof pasuk at the end, and then we have a comet starting the word. Nice old siluk in the middle here, and then a segol over here for the last syllable of this particular word. And so we have lachem, okay, to give them bread, lachem. Pausal form here then of this particular word here with the comets and siluk. So the siluk pushed this segol into a comets. Mem, that's water, was the original meaning of it, and Mahlon, I don't think he had much to do with water, but he was a smooth guy, he was a sickly guy, Mahlon, and we'll start out, and incidentally, I'll be using this word later on again for the final nun. Here's the final nun on here, which incidentally, he's been doing that quite consistently, just leaving the final nun a little bit shorter than what it should be. So you kind of have to remember this is a nun, and here you can see, they look pretty closely the same, don't they, here with the vav and the nun, but if you know your words, this is going to be a nun. So let's get on to writing it. The mem over here, nice little wave on the top to let us know that's water, and then malon, the chet, and then lamed, here we go, zip, and then the holam, and then the nun final. Should have a little top on there. There it is, nun final. Final nun, and then we'll get ourselves vowels here. This is a bata. This is a ma'alon. This will be a silent shuvah. It's closing the syllable. This one's going to be a holam, holam gadol. And then we have a mehupak right over here underneath the lamed. No space for that. So ma'alon, the smooth guy, the guy who was sickly. Lacham, back to lacham, and I'm doing this one for the final mem. I've already done this one for the lamed, so I could have done it for lamed, chet, and mem. Maybe it did, but anyway, lacham, and I'm not going to repeat all the stuff about the vowel pointing here, but we will just simply do the lamed, do the chet, and then do the mem, final mem, and then we'll do the the comets, siluk, and segol. Lacham, bread, house of bread. Arabic would be house of meat, so lacham, pausal form of lechem. So we move on to the nun, and nun has a medial form, a middle form, and an ending form. And this is the one that we start words or have it in the middle. Distinctive form of the letters, this bottom foot here. So it should be a little bit stronger, more powerful than the top one. In printed text, they look pretty closely the same, but In written text, the scribes, they'll push this foot out a little bit further just to let you know that this is a nun. Nice ayin here, and then a mem, and then a yod. Again, the yod went way down, almost didn't quite hit the bottom, but got close. So he likes pumping up his yod. Let's get on to writing it. We have the nun coming on down like so, out like so, and then the ayin comes around, and then it comes down. You got another flag here, and then the mem, a nice wave, ocean wave on the top, and then we got the foot here, and then the yod finishes it off. So nice comets on the front, and tev, comets. It starts with a comets, put a little dot beside it to let you know that's been slimmed down to an O. And then on the top we do have a keres, that's up here. In printed text, it's slanted. He liked it just a little bit of a slant like that. And that's then an accent. Naomi. Okay? Naomi. Naomi. In the Septuagint, they took the first comments as comments hatuv. They went Naomi. Took the next Shabbat here, took it as a pronounced Shabbat then, and then it went Naomi. Okay? So, but in English and Hebrew it is Naomi. Okay, Naomi. Yeah, this is Naomi. Ma'alon, we've seen this one already for the mem, and we're going to see it again now for the final nun. And it's not a really good example of that because the final nun is shorter than what it should be. But anyway, that's our scribe. And chet, make sure the chet is nice and compact, and then the lamed comes down, horizontal line goes off like this, holem off like so, and then nun, final nun. I'll extend it a little bit further just to let us know that that's a nun. Then a sheva here, holem gadol, and we do have a mehupak over here in the middle here. So Mahalon, the smooth guy, the sickly guy. He was sickly, got to Moab and died pretty quickly. Chesed. So this is supportive kindness. Whenever I see a word that can somewhat be, the meaning does come somewhat from its original root meanings of the consonants involved in producing the word, I like to put it in there. And so it's kindness, chesed, okay, loving kindness, mercy, and so forth. Chesed, very well Hebrew, very well known word in Hebrew diction. Often found with chen or hana and chesed. So, and the samach here gives you strength and power in the middle of this thing. This is a full-out segolate, okay? When you say segolate, I say segolate because it's got two segols, one after the other. Hasn't been enough accenting to affect any of this going up to anything else. So let's do the chesed. Nice chet. Here we go. The scribal form. Now chesed here, you go around and then it's closed. And then dalet is at the end here, like so. And then a rafeh is on here. We've got, like I said, it's a segolate. Segolates have a tendency to have a mil el accenting. We see that here with the this one's sakev katan on the top here. Sakev katan is right up here on the top of this chesed. So when you say it, it's chesed, okay? The accenting is on the front here. On the front, it's mil el accenting, and we see that's very normal with segolates. And this one has got so many things sliding through it that I did put the transliteration from one of my apps here. Okay. Sonnet. Oh, it does have a rafeh on it. Okay, good thing our scribe let us see that. So we go here. This is the ayin. The yod happens to be right on top of the ayin here. Why spend an extra space for that when you can stick your yod in with your ayin? And then the yod's in here. And then the final kaf is over here, goes all the way down. Accenting, we have a sedik on the front here, and then there's a yod, there's a patah over here, there's yod hirik over here. You have to be very careful with this hirik. If you stick it in front, it's hirik yod, but this one's a yod hirik, silent shava at the end, and a nice rafeh to end the whole thing off. So, enayich, okay, enayich, and like I said, a cheres on the top. Yeah, it's got a little slant to it, and the modern one, of course, does put a full slant to it. So to tell you it's a cheres, that's the accent then. Enayich, enayich, and a rafeh, a nice rafeh to send us on our way. Smooths the end of that word out. It has shiva, does not have a dagish in that kaf. Vatipol, and she fell. This one's an agglutinated prefixed form of feminine pronoun on the front of this particular verb. Okay, tifol. I believe the root is yafol, yod pe lamed, but this one's a feminine then, and then she fell on her face. Okay, this is when she's showing her her allegiance or her greeting Boaz here. Ruth is greeting Boaz here in this particular word. So let's get on to writing it. We got a vav right here, and a tau. Make sure the tau has a little foot on it, and then he does his pay all the way around in one shot. Okay, and then the alignment comes down horizontal and then peters out pretty quickly. He doesn't bother giving much strength to the foot of the alignment, but it puts all his energy, or all of the ink from the brush goes into the top part of that alignment. So then patah, and then a dagish, and a hirik, and then this is a dagish forte. So we actually got double dagish here. If you see these many dagish, you're not going to see any rafeh anymore. We do have a holem over here. So tifol, okay, tipol. We're going to have to give some punch to this pe because of the dagish here. And so both of these are dagish fortes, but tipol. Yeah, a couple of dagish fortes there. Aratsa, this is a directional hey at the end. I've noticed that the Bart Bible doesn't tell you these are directional heys. They just simply put in third feminine singular for the hey here. They've got to do a little revising to bring that up to what it is, and so hopefully as they work on their app, they'll be able to catch the directional hey. They don't do a good job at all on directional hey, so they just leave it as third feminine singular. And yeah, that's what if you had your computer doing your work for you, that's what would happen. But it is a directional hey towards the earth here. So sadik, this is what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at the medial sadik that's in the middle here. It's right in the middle of our letter. In written or printed text, that has quite a swing to it, and he has more vertical. So, but he does have the other flag on this side to make sure that we see it as a sadik. As a final form here, final form in printed text is straight down. I think in his text will be slanted. So let's write it out here. This is aratsa, towards the earth. So a nice aleph starting it out. Nice couple of flags in the front, a couple of horns of the ox, and then resh goes right around, and then sadik comes down like so. Give it a little bump out way back, then back this way. Nice flag on the top. Then the hey you're going to join in here. Okay, so now accent or vowel pointing, comments over here. Atna, his Atna went down with two little flags. Should have been joined together, but that's an Atna. Incidentally, printed text, they'll put it together. And here, this is an Atna over here. This is an Atna over here. He left it separately. Okay, so and then over here, Shava. Comments again over here, and Rafe ending it off. So there's not going to be a dagish in the hey here. So Aritzach. Okay, Aritzach. Give it a bit of a sigh as we send it out its way here. Aritzach. Aritzach. Rafe. Eretz, this is Earth, and this one has not been agglutinated in any way, shape, or form, so it is the original double segol, and the segolate's going to have a milel accent, and that's what we have here with, well, it says matech. I guess it is matech. Anyway, accenting towards the front, okay, milel towards the top or front. Let's write it out. Nice olive here, and then a little flag comes down like so. Then again this one, little foot on the end here, resh on one fell swoop, and then the sadik final runs down. Then you have another one joining in like so, little two flags on the top here, and the double segolate, like I said, over here, and then over here. And then a matech over here. So I think it's matech. It might be a sluk, but could be, it's probably a matech. Katsir, okay, this one's harvest, and kof here. We're getting towards the end now. I tell my students all the time, keep a nice space there, keep a nice space here. That's what we should be doing. Printed text, that's what we should be doing. Apps, that's what we should be doing. We get to our scribe. What does he do? He joins up his vertical element with his horizontal element, something that I tell my students not to do. Well, he did, but it's still kind of obvious that you can see it. Incidentally, if you think about it, the original ones did have it's a cord with a knot on the top, and the knot was attached to the cord. So he still has the knot attached to the cord. Fine, that's the way it was written back then. It wasn't until later that they actually put the space in, okay? So originally probably was, yeah, it was archaic form, yeah, they put the knot was very much attached to the cord. Later on, for whatever reason, they kept them separate there. Yeah, almost all of our words are done with the elements attached, and this one is kind of unique in having a separate element like that, two-piece element in its formation. But in the scribal times, in the time of 1,000 years ago, it was attached. So let's do it that way. Kof will swing around like so, and then, yeah, attach it, okay? Let's have some room for attaching it. Down she goes. Then the sadik comes around like so, a little swivel to it, and then down like so. A yod is a little bit bigger than normal, but it's still there. And then the resh on the final resh. We get a chance here that we'll have a shava at the front, and oh yeah, that will be pronounced shava because it starts out, and then a shava when it starts out a word is going to be pronounced ketzir, okay, ketzir. The harvest, and I have a little cord or have a arrow here because when you have a letter that does reflect ancient practice of the consonant, a cord with a knot, that's what's used to make a harvest. The katsir goes through pulling the sheaves of grain together and knotting them up. The harvesters are kotsrim, those are the people making the knots, and the katsir is the harvest where the knots have been made with the kof here. The kof is telling you the cord with the knot on the top to make your harvest. So, katsir, the harvest. We see that at the end of the book of Ruth, the Katsir Shorim, the Katsir of the long-haired grain barley. So Resh is here. Ruth, our hero of the story. Ruth with a surik right here, beautiful surik. Tau with a nice patah on it. So with a patah, no, with a rafe, you're not going to have a dagish then. So Ruth, nice little atna, giving us the key accent of this. Incidentally, one of the difficult things about Hebrew is that when I tell my students, especially in Spanish, oh, here's the accent, they tend to just take the accent and stick it on that word. That accent is of that word. No, the accent is actually of the entire verse. In other words, it not only accents the word, it also accents what happens with how you divide the verse. So if we're looking here at Ruth 1 verse 4, we'll find out that something important happened within the verse. So it's the logical division of the verse. It can be in the middle, it can be in the front, it can be at the end, but it's the logical division of the verse when you see an atna. So Ruth, let's get in with the R, the Resh, Vav, which will later convert to a surik, and nice Rafe. Okay, atna. Logical division of this verse, and the little dot in the middle here is not a dagish, it is a surik. Makes it a U sound, okay? So this thing gives us a U sound for the Ruth. Ruth is the neighborly one. We can find it as Reut, and so it's actually a construct form of the word neighbor, okay? Reut, the neighborly one, the friendly one. Sadek, no, this is not Sadek, Sheen, okay, Sheen, tooth. And again, we see the same thing we saw previously on the position of the dot that indicates the position of the sheen. On this side, it'd be seen, on that side, sheen. And we get a double patah here. And we have a nice little dagish here too. So let's get on with writing Shaddai. Shaddai is all-powerful God. We find that also in this Septuagint. They call it Pantocrator, so a powerful one. And so we have Shaddai. He also has, incidentally, the last yod there's kind of stretching itself out, and the indication of the sheens over here. Nice little patah, nice little patah, nice little dagish forte in the middle here, and then we have a tabir at the end here, like so. So Shaddai. The dagish here doubles up the dalet, and that's why it doubles up the dalet here. That's why we see a double indication of Shaddai, the powerful one. Naomi here, when she's complaining about God, only uses half of his name. Rather than calling him El Shaddai, calls him Shaddai, the tough guy. And I'm only going to use half his name to sort of let him know that I have it in for him. So Shaddai. And so the rest of the story really shows how gracious Jehovah is to her. But at the start, she's feeling bad about it. She's complaining about it. Is pretty bitter about it. Even wants to change her name to Mara, which means bitter. So Shaddai, the powerful one. And we end with Tamar, an interesting person to find in the book of Tamar. Okay, I didn't really write it out here. Tamar, who managed to get Judah to produce the two children. She had twins, Phares and Sarah, and Tamar. So again, a lovely Raphe over here, starting it out. So you see a Raphe, not going to have a dagish, and then Mem, and then Bresh. Very simple word with double comets. And let's finish it up here. We'll get with the Tau at the start, That's what we want over here. Nice foot. The distinctive feature of the towel is that foot. Okay. If you just have it without the foot, you're going to think of it as a chet. So you want to separate the towel from the, or you think of it as a hay. You see how far that horizontal element's coming out there. And then a tifa over here. Rafe, okay? Tamar, okay? Tamar. I think maybe that's why some of the English versions did put in a th here, and the Rafe kind of helps us think of it that way too. Tamar, okay? Tamar. So there are the letters as we understand them, and certainly a blessing to look at all these things. Helps us feel the flow of how the language moves through, and it's God's word, and God's word really shouldn't be thought of as something that's just so scientifically rigorous and so forth. It is very much God speaking to us in a language that really does flow, and really does give us a tremendous sense of His connecting. It's God connecting to us through a flowing river, which is His Word. So let the vowel pointings and the accenting and so forth help you feel the Lord bringing His Word to you. These things shouldn't be considered as complications. They should be considered as guideposts to show you on the way to understanding God's Word. So God bless and God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.